Michael Kahn and PJ Cruikshank tonight. I hope you guys are doing well. We're going to have I think we're going to have a very special series. I think you guys would agree. Long overdue series that we should have done ages ago, actually.
Yeah. They think bottom up obstruction is impossible on a flat Earth. Come on. Come on now.
What a joke. But it's good to see you guys. Really glad you could make it. Hi, everybody in the chat as well. Glad you guys could make it. Yeah, tonight we're going to be discussing bottom-up obstruction and simply how it works, I guess. That's it. But this is part one of a series we're going to be doing, which I think is really well intended. A few nights ago, I did say I wanted to do this, and then, well, Michael led me to a video from Taboo Conspiracy. Shout out to Ben. Definitely awesome stuff. Ben, if you ever want to come on the show, you're definitely more than welcome. I'd love to have him on. I guess you guys would agree.
Yeah.
He does awesome.
Absolutely.
You're in my fellowship Skype group, aren't you?
I'm in.
Yes, I am. Ben's also there, I think.
Yeah, ask him in there.
I'm just in Skype as your friend. I'm not part of the group as such. I was in with you in 10th and that, but I'm not part of that group. Because that's what I said to you the other day, is Ben, him from Taboo.
You're not part of that group.
Yeah, is that what it is? Is that also if like if you send a message to them, I'll see it, will I?
It's just a Skype version of my Element room.
Oh, is it? So it's all right. Okay, I thought you had to be invited to some group or something like that. I didn't realise. Got you. I only started using Skype because of 10th Man and you. That's the only reason I started using it.
But yeah, I'm hardly on Skype, to be honest.
No, the point was just message him in there and ask him to come on like that.
Oh, got you. I see.
That was my point.
Yeah, Vicky, I should say, Vicky, you don't even have to ask for permission to ban trolls. You know the spiel. If they have multiple accounts, then who's there? So yeah, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, but you don't have to ask. You're a mod for a reason. If Flats didn't agree with it, then he'd tell you, "Oh no, I don't agree with that one. I'll take that one back or whatever." You just do what you do.
I trust her judgment fully. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be a series we're going to do. So obviously tonight we're going to be going through the video from Taboo Conspiracy, which is awesome. If you guys haven't watched already, I will put the link in the description afterwards. I think it's going to be great. And then obviously, because it's a series, we'll be explaining through it in more detail as we get along, because I haven't watched the video from him yet, so I think it's been interesting. But we're going to open with a video before we use these from Alan Norstrand.
Ooh.
Yeah, he did a demonstration recently.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really, really awesome stuff.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm subscribed to Ellen, but I haven't seen a video for. I'm not getting notifications for him either. So yeah, they're at it again, and with the notifications, I think.
But yeah, shout out to Alan Norstrand, dude. You rock. If you can give his a link in the description for people, will be great. Absolutely. Really awesome stuff. He did another bottom-up obstruction demonstration on a flat surface like we usually do, which globally says impossible. It's the Titanic.
It's lovely. Or is it the Britannia?
We do Zoolander. Is this a museum for ants? How are the people supposed to fit in there? Anyway, let's press play and then see what he did. Shout out, Alan, you rock, man.
All right. We've got the Titanic here, sitting as level as I can get it with the lens on this floor. We're going to see here, as it goes off into the distance, sideways here, will it disappear top to bottom or bottom to top?
Pay attention, guys. You can already see that bottom structure holding it up is gone already. Just by moving it away, guys. Really hard. Now he's moving the boat more away. Look how it gets bottom obstruction on a flat surface. Uh-oh.
Terrence in chat.
Hey, Taryn, haven't seen you in a while, man. Good to see you. How you doing? Because he hasn't been here for a long time. Glad to have you in, man. Okay, so we got a lot to get through. This is a long video from Taboo as well. So this is going to be a series, as I said. So guys, if you haven't already, please hit the likes. Do subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Share the show. And let's just grow this channel to what it's supposed to be. You guys would agree? It's supposed to be much bigger.
Absolutely.
Sticks. Hey, Sticks. Zed, good to see you. This is a new person. Please don't ban Sticks, though. Sticks is trying to find out what's going up with the flat earth stuff. Playing devil's advocate. Wouldn't that mean the floor is not perfectly level? Then we would be saying the contractors are incompetent. Usually when you build a passage floor or a foundation, you make it level, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we've got an awesome video coming up. How to fake the curvature and still get promoted by YouTube. You guys are ready, or do you guys have any opening statements before we start?
Nah, I mean, it just seems to be the same story, doesn't it? How to fake curvature and get promoted by YouTube, sort of thing. It's just it's what happens, isn't it? Any global kind of alleged evidence gets pushed, doesn't it? But anything flat Earth is shadow banned. You know, I've only seen half of it, not half of this video, but you know, it's the same old story, isn't it? It doesn't matter what we present to them. It's always curved.
I was just gonna say to Sticks, you can do the same thing on the table. I mean, you can't claim a table's got some kind of curve or bend in it.
Exactly. And I mean, I've done this on an aluminium flat bar, my mixing bench. People have done it numerous of times on different flat surfaces. It's definitely flat, level.
Yeah. You're like the avatar, are you, Vicky? It's nice.
I love it.
Let's start in.
If you guys ready
It's
to
another
start?
one of the inventions. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do this.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Today's video is going to be a long one, and I'm sorry about that. I usually don't like putting out long videos, but I just had to share 2 videos from Don't Sphere the Truth's channel.
Shout out.
Most of you probably already subscribed to his channel, but if you don't, please do so now, and I'll have a link to his channel in the description. In the 2 videos from Don't Sphere the Truth, you're going to see a little debate between him and globe propagandist Dave McKeegan. The debate generally centers around the question as to why boats disappear from the bottom up over long distances. Since this is probably the most popular argument in favor of the globe propagandists will not let it go, even if it is stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for the first super chat. Thank you, Roger Ledwell, for your super chat, $2. I really appreciate it. It says, imagine what waves do. Exactly. What do waves do? I don't know. It does shows for shortening and then blocks bottom of boats. I mean, we've been showing this and really saying this many times before. Thank you very much for your super chat, Roger. You rock. I really appreciate all the support, man.
Can I just reading what some trolls have been saying? How did Alan manage to get his camera to like melt into the floor so it will like blow up floor?
You know.
Hey, Sleeping Warriors in as well. How's it going, man?
How you doing tonight?
Breaking up.
Yo.
Yeah, what's up? It's good to see you guys. Okay, let's carry on.
As you can see here, so long as the water is very calm and there is no inferior mirage, you can see the clear evidence of our flat Earth. This cruise ship in this video, which should be entirely hidden by the globe curvature, is much further away than the video used by Mr. McKeegan, and the camera is even lower at only 2 feet off of the water.
Notice, do we see the boat, guys?
No.
Oh, I don't.
So it's gone past the resolution limit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing we have to point out to the globies. Resolution limits are a real thing, guys. It really does exist. And this is the issue we have with the globies. When you had Aristotle or whatever looking out in those days, and they looked out to the shore, they didn't have any equipment that we have today. So they looked out and they said, hang on, the boat went over a curve at about 3 miles away. If they had the equipment to be able to zoom in, they would see, oh, no, wait, the boat's just too far to see. Now we can see it better. And then they would have probably made a different deduction if they were honest.
They think if we're on a flat Earth, we should have high definition sight for forever, continues forever. Do you know what I mean? There's such a thing. There's such things as that the eyes don't resolve, can't resolve, too far away to resolve. Simple.
Yo, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I only
I
only joined really because I just wanted to remind you guys of the example that Nathan gives for why things disappear bottom up. Do you guys remember what he uses as the real world example? Yeah, the brick. It's the best way for, because when you start talking about angles, bearing in mind that all their lines are not straight, they're all curves. So like they can't really have any angles ever. But they're always happy to apply angles at this point because they think it suits them and sorts their argument out. But bottom line is, when it comes to distant observations for things like miles away that we're supposed to be not seeing because of the bump in the middle, and we can see them, if you ever stand like 10, 15, 20 miles away from a city and you look at the skyline, you can't resolve the windows. Sometimes you can see the light flickering off them, but you can't resolve the windows because the windows are too small for you to see. And they're not even at the bottom, are they? They're some way up the building. But you can't see a house brick from more than a mile or two. Maybe a mile, I would say, is probably the maximum you can see it. But you can only just about see a skyscraper at 15 miles. But you can't see the bottom brick. You can't see any of the bricks. But you can see the skyscraper. And if you present it the way that he does it, I think that's where they start to realize the problem, the error that they've got, because you can't see a house brick sort of like more than a max. I think a mile's the limit, really.
No, but definitely going to get into that. I mean, like I said, this is actually a series we're going to do. So tonight we're just starting off with Taboo's conspiracies video, which is great because it does go into some of Life is Short's presentation and everything as well, which is awesome because I wanted to do that anyway. So yeah, no, we're definitely going to do that example of the brick. We've done it on the show many times actually before. And I'm also planning to actually do some more demonstrations live for them as well. So it's going to be quite cool.
If it was possible to see as far as what they in their head, they think that you can see New York from like Paris. That's what they're thinking. They think they've got bionic eyes, infinity vision, infinity zoom. It's just delusional to think that. I don't know what. And the reason why they think that is because when you draw it out orthographically, because they're all horizontal lines that don't converge in the center of field of view, they think that they can see indefinitely. And it's because of people like the Rumpus that lies to them about that makes them think that. I don't know. Yeah. Once they get corrected and we point out that it all converges at a central point. I don't know how they can't see that, how that orthographic view is wrong, but they just seem to choose to accept it because it's convenient. It's delusional. Shout out to YouTube for Man United getting dicked today by Man City.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Essentially, as I have discussed before, there are three primary ways the globe propagandists trick their non-discerning audience with the claim that boats disappear over the alleged curvature. First, globe propagandists use the fact that small obstructions between...
Okay, I've got to stop this here quickly. You see how that boat just sunk down there, below that horizon there? if you've ever been on a boat before or even been to the ocean, you would see this happen because the ocean's water is moving constantly. There's bulges all over, there's waves, and the bulges are much more prominent the deeper you go in. Now, the Globers love to be dishonest. This is when they take this still image.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, you see it
And
went behind
boats
the curve.
Yeah, and boats don't float on top of the water. There's some of the boat under the water up to the plimsoll line usually.
Yeah, exactly. It's got
If,
a hole.
if it's way down, it goes down to the plimsoll line. But the plimsoll line's where it's not meant to go past. But there is some of the boat under the water.
Yeah. But you see, this is the thing that they want to be
the other
dishonest
thing-
on. Yeah? Go ahead.
The other thing to look for on that video, and it's a lot of the evidences that they use anyway. Can you see there's like two different tones of the same color in the image? There's like a paler shade, a paler band, and then you've got a darker shade of the same color. There's something going on with that because I don't know whether that kind of overlay on top of it, like mirage. So it's optical, whatever it is. It's not actual, but it seems to be. I don't know what it is. I had the term dirty air for it, but it's in virtually every image. Sometimes it's the sky mirage, above the water or on top of the water, so it looks lower than it should be. Other times it's the water mirage and above above itself, so the horizon appears to be higher than it should be. You can see that there's like a band of pale bluey color, and that's not real water. That I don't know what that is, but it's not real water, and the boats are sat behind that, so there's no real obstruction there. It's just there's some kind of thing affecting your vision between your eye line and the boat, and it seems to be like a mirage. Just watch for it because it's there all the time almost.
Exactly. Hey, Roger Little, thank you very much for $2 super chat, man. He says hot dang. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. Appreciate all the support. You are awesome. I'm going to share my screen again to paint because this is what I'm trying to say with the show. You can see this would be the ship and the guy representing the camera looking out. Okay. You would all agree that the ship is now sitting, the bottom of the boat is underneath the water because obviously it displaces water. But now what happens is they take this boat and they take a still shot when it's now gone like that because of the bulges, because of the waves. So now it's actually physically lower than the observer because it's gone into a water bulge. And forgetting...
I don't think you're sharing paint.
Am I not? It's showing it.
I'm
not showing it. Sorry, guys. I must remember.
You got to press the tab. He's probably done what I did. Well.
Okay. Let's start over. We got the boat here sitting level now with the observer, and obviously you can see a bit of the boat is underneath the water just because it's displacing water, like I said. Now, what happens when you take that boat and you've gone now and it's gone below, because it's now, the water's never sitting straight. It has bulges and waves and stuff. Now they take a photo. Now you've got waves and you've got stuff obstructing, and it's gone down with the bulge. And they take a screenshot and say, "But look now, it's gone down below Earth curve. What's blocking that?" And you said, "But it's literally just foreshortening. The boat is physically inside a bulge, below bulge, and physically got waves in front of it. That little 10 centimeter wave can easily obstruct the bottom of a large ship that's much further away." Okay? Let's say that same wave is now here at where the observer's eye is. Remember, this is just the line it had. It's going to be angular size. That little wave is going to be much larger than that ship.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I've seen that they are very dishonest on. Because I think you guys have also seen them do that.
Yeah. I just noticed that Vicky had a free membership up there. I didn't. Was it read out already? Was it?
Sorry?
Vicky, I just noticed Vicky had a free membership up there. Was it already read out? Was it? I didn't even know it.
Oh, wait, there's another super chat as well. Roger Redwell as well for another $2 super chat. I didn't see it. Sorry, man. It's hit and cold temps that refract waves. Definitely have a lot of refraction going on. People don't seem to want to be honest enough and say, yeah, there's something called refraction, because it's only selective when it comes to the globe. Have you guys realized that only the globe is allowed to have refraction when it suits them?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get on with the
Vicky had a
presentation.
2-month membership. Vicky had a 2-month membership as well. She said, keep up the great work.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate all my members, by the way. Appreciate you all. Oliver Queen asked, where did I learn perspective? I literally went to study it. I majored in art, mate. It was like you would say, people get a PhD in a certain subject. Yeah, that's what I literally majored in. I went to go study art, personally. You would think somebody teaches you perspective when you go study art, correct?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, why would I want to ask you that? I trust you when you told me that. Why would you want to lie to me? So I don't quiz you about it. Why would I?
It's not really hard to understand either, is it, though?
It's not hard. Wow.
Oh, are we still live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had some issues on my... Okay, well, it's back again. Let's press... Oh, what's going on now? Okay, there we go.
Between you and a distant object, like waves, swells, and tides, can cause boats and distant buildings to disappear from the bottom up. Globe proponents falsely call these obstructions
obstruct now, and
will deny the fact that small objects in the foreground can obstruct distant objects along the horizon. Fortunately, you can just open your eyes and see the effect that waves have in hiding distant boats, like these. I hate to point out the obvious, but waves are not the supposed curvature.
Exactly, Taboo. Waves are not the supposed curvature. That's exactly our point. And I just got to say to people, I don't watch Rachel's nonsense stuff anymore. So if you have any issues with that, then go stuff it. I don't watch a troll's video.
Mad Max said in chat, I mean, even school, regular art class taught me perspective pretty well. Exactly. Even in primary school, when you taught to draw certain things, I suppose. Even before I went to secondary school, I think I learned a bit about perspective.
I've got an idea. If you guys don't trust what I said on perspective, how about test what I said on perspective and debunk it? How's that?
Exactly.
Here is another example from Wide Awake that shows a small bird obstructing an entire boat,
There we go, foreshortening, guys.
even though the camera is higher than the birds and the rocks.
Ooh. How does that work? Oh, wait, I know. It's called foreshortening. Literally, with perspective, everything below eye level rises relative to it. Okay, so it converges to the convergence zone, and everything above eye level goes down towards the convergence zone. Now notice, remember, he's zooming in now as well. What happens when you magnify a foreshortened portion of what you're seeing? Exactly what you're seeing now. So, Globies, all those birds and that little rock that's physically lower than the camera height, physically rised and physically obstructing that bottom of the boat. Remember my paint tin cans in the booth I showed with the setting sun? That was a demonstration of what you're seeing here. It's just the angle.
This should be impossible, according to Mr. McKeegan and his ilk, but there it is, right in front of your eyes. In the video you're about to see, Life is Short has an awesome segment that details how the smallest obstructions can become large obstructions, to the point that for a 6-foot observer, a 3-foot wave a quarter mile away can obstruct a 250-foot tall cruise ship 20 miles away.
The shout out to Life is Short. As I said, this is Life is Short's math that he used. He did actual demonstrations. He did a lot of presentations. Like I said, this is a series we're going to do, so we're going to go through his presentations. I think it's a must. Definitely a must.
Vicky, you were quick there, Vicky. Wow.
What
Very
happened?
quick. Somebody came in and says, "Are all yous gays?" And Vicky was right. I was just about to get rid of it, and Vicky was just before, and I was fast. I was on it fast, and Vicky had already done it. Like, what? He's fast.
Very brave keyboard warrior.
Yeah, absolutely.
All they do is show how stupid globe believers are, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's all they got at the end of the day. They got nothing but coming in to say really childish statements.
Yeah.
Homophobic statements, as you just saw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm a heliophobe. I'm not a homophobe.
This actual footage.
I'm proud to be one. Definitely proud to be a heliophobe.
It doesn't mean say I'm scared of light. It means I'm a phobic of heliocentrism, not just of light.
Yeah. But I think we got a
Not
reason.
helio.
We got a reason to be.
Yeah.
From Wide Awake further confirms Life is Short's argument. The second method of deception globe propagandists use is taking a long-distance object that is being obstructed by an inferior mirage and deceptively referring to that opaque inferior mirage obstruction as curvature.
Yep. If you actually look properly based on this, the horizon would be here. Because that's where the mirroring's happening. But you don't see it because it's mirrored with the rest of the boat. Notice that this mirroring is based on the horizontal. And almost, if you try and...
you want a symmetry line almost.
Yeah, if you want to think of it visually, you can think of it almost as an inclined slope mirror. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how you're looking at it. Notice that the refraction you guys need for the globe goes the opposite of what we see in reality.
To that opaque inferior mirage obstruction as curvature. That's a favorite one used by many propagandists, including Reds Rhetoric, Walter Bislin, McQuest, and Soundly. You'll see Mr. McKeegan employ the same pathetic method of deception in the videos you're about to see. What shocks me the most is that their subscribers fail to see such obvious lies.
That's a brilliant demonstration.
The third method of deception, which is beyond the discussion here, is taking long-distance images that are compressed, like these apartments here, and referring to that compression as curvature.
Yep, we see this all the time. I think this was B-Ball, Life is... what's that B-Ball guy? Anyway, he's one of these guys. I think he did this.
B-Ball for life.
We've been through this many times. Yeah, B-Ball for life or whatever. We've been trying to explain.
I think there's two things happening with this particular picture. I think there's two things happening with that particular picture, and I see this quite a lot as well. You've seen that video where the guy's driving down the road and there's a square-looking building. It looks like a prison or a police headquarters or something in the background. And as he gets closer to it, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And they're asking, like, why is it doing this? Why is it creating this perception? Well, when we're looking through the atmosphere, the air, when we're looking through the medium, Rob Skiba demonstrated that it's magnified, but it also gets squashed at the bottom up. But what seems to be happening is not only is it getting squashed at the bottom up, but the top half of it, if you look at that, that looks way too big at the top relative to how much squash there is at the bottom. Even if you were to remove the squashing, it's as if it's being magnified the further up the image you go and being squashed further down the image you go. And what would you expect if we lived on a flat plane? You would expect things at the bottom to be compressed, which we see. But if the atmosphere is magnifying them as well, which is why these look too big at the top, the question really is, what, like, how do we put this into words? Because there is no science for this. We're trying to interpret this based on like
look at it this
Go
way:
on.
heat rises, and as the heat's rising, the cold water vapor is going down. You know what I mean? So it's going to give this elongated, compressed effect. So the lower down to the water spray, you're going to have this compression down as the heat's trying to force itself up. And because the heat's rising up higher, obviously that can give the higher parts of the building an elongated look, as the bottom's more compressed as the cold is going down. Yeah, that's refraction.
Now, wouldn't you think that all the science of, that is refraction. But when they say things like you've got all the known knowledge of mankind at your fingertips with Google, yet you can't find anything to explain what we're looking at here. All of it's to do with, it has to be globe, and we know it's not globe. But they make their arguments so that it fits globe no matter what. But you would think that the refraction arguments can be demonstrated. Like, there should be more study into refraction than what there actually is, because we're seeing stuff that's consistent with what they claim. Because for them, everything's curve, everything's globe, isn't it? But we're clearly not seeing evidence of globe, we're seeing evidence of everything. But there is no science for it, and there should be. If all of the known knowledge of man is at your fingertips, where is all the explanation for what we're seeing when it comes to things at the horizon, which, let's be honest, they can be all over the place. They can be squashed, they can be stretched, they can be appearing to be magnified. There's all sorts of weird things that go on at the horizon, but there's very little so-called science or study in that area. And they're asking us to explain what's going on here. And we know it's not curving, but there is no language to describe what we're looking at. It doesn't exist.
They can try our best, but I mean, when they do try and explain it, they use flat surfaces, just like
when there's
Andrew Thomas Young.
When there's distortion all over the place, you know what I mean, at the top, at the bottom, and it's all different types. What are you meant to call it? You can't just call it miscellaneous distortion. You know, I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah, where do you find the words to explain it all, describe it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to say shout out Roger Lidwell again. He sent a super chat, another $2 super chat. Really appreciate it. He said they look like sea sparrows. Those were the previous images we saw. Really, thank you, man. And then the new super chat. $2 super chat as well. Marshmallow Town. Yes, it could be Marshmallow Town. Really appreciate it, man. I'll say I can't know next text be a word from Mama. Okay, so thank you very much for your super chats, man. Really appreciate it. Marshmallows are squishy.
YouTube was saying I laughed listening to MDD last night, where a guy said, "Here's a photo taken by an astronaut." Comedy gold. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, really awesome stuff. But like I said, it's definitely a series we're going to be doing, and I want to break down all these effects as clear as I possibly can for people to understand. And the best of my
It is Riley.
Yeah.
It is live right now. Sorry, I was just answering somebody in chat. Sorry.
No sure.
Before we get to Don't Sphere the Truth's videos, I'll be sharing a couple clips from some of my older videos that are relevant to the discussion that unequivocally demonstrate the methods of these liars. Anyways, I hope you enjoy. I was presented this video from Red's Rhetoric. Actually, it was a longer observational video of a sailboat supposedly disappearing behind the curvature. This is a shortened version, and this video is still listed by Red's Rhetoric as proof of the curvature.
Wow.
I remember this video well because it had a huge psychological impact on me, as the globe proponents were very excited about it. According to them, this observational video should have ended the flat earth debate. I actually thought...
Okay. Look how big that... What did you call that?
Sea sparrow.
Sea sparrow there. Look how big it is. Is it physically bigger than the boat, guys?
No.
It's got an angular size.
Yeah. It's mad talking about Red's Rhetoric. Back 2 days ago, I think it was 3 days ago, I got I'm not even subscribed to him, and I got a recommended video from 4 years ago. It was the 11 frames one. Couldn't believe it. I was like, no
But
way.
you know what's funny? Why do they recommend his videos but not mine? The one guy that actually made the video is not the one getting recommended. The one that's literally slandering the other person and making shit up is the one that's being recommended.
Yeah.
That's it.
Funnily enough, I've had that same video this week.
Huh, yeah, really weird.
Madness, isn't it?
Another thing I want to point out on this image as well, this is where we're going. Can you see where the that bird is? You see that light piece of water? Does it look lower than the horizon?
Yeah.
Can I ask a simple question? But on a globe, a ball, isn't the horizon supposed to be lower than something in front of it? Because it's supposed to be going down, not up. So in other words, we literally can, based on this still image here, we can see that it rises relative to eye level, doesn't go down. Because on a ball, it will go down, not up. And this is
It's
showing
like
it's
when you
going up.
look at when somebody's took a photo and there's like loads of islands, and the further away they get, the higher up they are. I mean, how is that working on a ball?
Yeah. But you see, it's very simple. But just based on this still image alone. Literally, you can see visually is rising relative to eye level. So in other words, the horizon is rising, not falling. Based on the globe, it should be falling, not rising. Also, what we can literally see foreshortening because it's showing that the boat's angular size is getting smaller, while everything closer to the observer is bigger in angular size. Now, if you look at the bird and you take a look at the waves behind him, they're all much smaller than the boat. But because the boat's further away, it's able to occult it based on foreshortening. Just like if I take my hand, and I've shown this many times before, I bring my hand forward, my hand's blocking my face, not because it is bigger than my head. It's not physically bigger. It's small. It's just literally foreshortening. See, my hand's smaller than my head. But if I bring it out, it grows bigger. That's foreshortening.
The globe proponents were right at first glance. But I watched the video carefully, and I noticed something was wrong with the claim, as the far distant birds were mirroring themselves and disappearing higher than what appeared to be the horizon line. Jeranism later made a terrific video on the subject. This is still one of my favorite Flat Earth videos ever made because of its impact on me. Here's a short clip of Jaren's video, and I'll have a link in the description to the full video so you can head over to Jeranism's channel and watch it later.
Now here I put a little arrow, and if you watch carefully, right at that line you will see clearly the waves of water as they run by the boat, and you can see the reflection of the left sail in the water. That's not the boat, that is a reflection. Just like in this image here of the sunset, that is not the sun melting into the water, that is the actual water. Kind of reminds you of this image here, this gentleman walking on a mirage street, and obviously the bottom of his body has been eaten up. And that is what's happening on the ocean when we look at boats. The bottom of the boat has been eaten up. Here you can look underneath that right sail. There's nothing there, whereas the actual boat, which I superimposed, had different sections of the boat there.
At this point,
Brilliant. I just want to say thank you for
don't have
another.
to go any further than that video of that guy walking down the road with half his body missing. That's game over there.
Yeah, you don't have
Perfect,
to.
isn't it?
I mean, it wasn't physically melting into the road.
Yeah, and the
That
one
was
with
it.
the
But I just want to say before we go on, thank you, Roger, for your $2 super chat, Matt. Really appreciate this. 2 words, mirror flashes. Exactly. Exactly. Just like we're saying. But thank you very much for your super chat, Roger. You are awesome. Yeah? What do you want us to say?
So I say the one with the the guy's walking away, and you see it looks like the one with the pylons. No, but it looks like Earth curve. That's a perfect one to equate it with. Do you know what I mean? With it, you see the miraging, and you see how it makes it looks like it's curving away when it's just different effects, mirroring and perspective together. You know what I mean? It's a good demonstration of it.
Very good.
Jaron is right though. With that boat was mirroring back on itself. It was mirroring the sails back on itself, and it gives the appearance that the sails are stretching. The sails probably are stretching, but if it's mirroring back on itself, and it gives the impression that the sails are going down to the horizon, it kind of lets you think that the rest of the boat is below the horizon if you don't realize that it's mirroring back on itself. Tabu's completely correct that it's overtly dishonest. I'm sure they know this. They just present it anyway.
They do know this. I mean, I've spoken to this exact kind of thing about with Reds as well. I mean, even with what's that Slice Cane and all that nonsense people. We've spoken about this stuff to them. They know about it for years now. But do you think they're going to be honest enough to concede when they're wrong about it? Nope.
No.
Because to them,
They'll
it's
bring
literally...
you lawyers and try and get you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It looks like only the sail is visible. Kick ass.
Yeah, Red. Kick ass. See, if you really were all about science, you'd conduct non-biased tests, not ones with a clear motive to prove current known facts. See, I'm challenging those facts, and well, I just knocked one of them off its perch.
Now, to any reasonable, objective, truthful person, Jaron destroyed Red's rhetoric's claim that the boat was disappearing over the curvature. It's quite fascinating, but mirages swallow distant objects from the bottom up. The bottom of the boat did not go over any imaginary curvature. Without question, the bottom of the boat disappeared into a mirage, and the rest of the boat faded into the atmosphere. It's not even debatable, as you can clearly see the mirage line. Now, I can understand if it was a simple mistake by Red's rhetoric, as we were all just learning about this long-distance mirage phenomenon. But not one of the Globe supporters would admit this obvious fact after it was pointed out. Red's rhetoric still has this video up and is still using it as proof of the curvature.
I wonder why that would be.
It's false. It's a lie, and he knows it. Globe propagandists still use mirages as proof of the curvature. Globe propagandists still use mirages as proof of the curvature. Now, this is another issue that still bugs me, because people keep sending this to me as proof of the curvature. This is Soundly's famous Lake Pontchartrain Earth curvature video. He still has it up, and he still...
Why do they give this always as the Earth curve? I mean, this is one of the most...
There's so many problems with it.
Yeah.
First of all,
and then you go back the next day, and it all looks perfect in perspective wise. You know what I mean? It looks flat.
Look at that furthest pylon.
But how much times have we debunked this? By the way, how much curve should you see in Lake Pontchartrain if it was their given radius that's already been debunked?
Yeah. Well, that was my initial reaction. The first time I ever saw this. The first time I ever saw this, that was my immediate. I mean, how much curvature is there supposed to be, right? Do we live on a basketball, or is it that big that we can't see? That was my initial reaction.
More like a toilet, more like the inner of a toilet roll. You know what I mean? with the level horizon.
Do you know what makes me laugh? When the throw, oh, Earth's really big, and then you see this picture.
Exactly.
I just got to
both ways, but they will argue it both ways.
Oh yeah.
You never see curve x-axis, do you? It's all. Do you know what I mean? You never see the curve that way. But
can I quickly correct Abdev as well? Surveyors do land surveying. Water's not land, Abdev. You can't measure water.
Surveyors don't measure curve either.
No, they measure slope and incline angles based on a horizontal datum. So you were already lying there, or they lied. But yeah, that's really, it's insane. I mean, I'm going to actually look out quickly. Lake Pontchartrain distance. It's 14 kilometers, guys.
Wow.
Oh, wait, no. No, sorry, that's from me, 14,000. I don't want to get it from you. I want to see. It covers an area of 630 square miles, so 1,600 square kilometers. But I want to see how long the bridge is.
When I first heard it was
Yeah,
I first
go
heard it was 14 kilometers, my first reaction was I can piss further than that because that's such a small amount of distance,
read
but
it wrong.
such a lot of
With an average depth of 12 to 14 feet. Some shipping channels are kept deeper through edging, blah, blah, blah. About 40 miles, 64 kilometers from west to east. I want to see how long it is from side Lake Pontchartrain Bridge. Bridge length. There we go. 8,700 meters. So how much curve should we see in 8,700 meters, guys?
Not much.
Oh, none, because we're so small. And
Yeah. Maybe we should go to Walter Bislin's Earth curve calculator for people, and then we can check it live. How's that sound, guys?
Yeah.
Just so they can see
the
we
other
are
thing
doing
is
this together. Yeah.
Walter
amount of
Bislin
pylons, I don't
put
know
that image on the
many there
board or
are.
something. Sorry.
So you both could hear they both.
Sorry.
Yeah?
Go on.
Go ahead.
Go on, Anthony.
As there are in that in the real world, when you're looking down the length of those pylons, it looks like there's a zillion of them. And I'm sure there's only about something like, I don't know, maybe 30, 40, maybe 50, and we're only looking at a small section of them. How many is there in that section? You can't even count them. There's that many. And it's like, I'm wondering, is some of them being from our perspective? Because like it looks like there's far too many of them that we're only seeing a small section of them.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. But I mean, as soon as quickly says super chat, then I'll say what I did. Super chat $2 again from Roger Ledwell. Thank you very much. Says, remember, Planet New Orleans. It is a Planet New Orleans. Practically what they're pushing. Thank you very much for your super chat, man. But let me put this. I actually debunked something because you can literally. What Soundly's done is called forced perspective. So he takes it at a very side, shallow angle of a straight edge. You can literally make straight edges look curved at the correct angle. I did a video, I think it was beginning of last year, where I got a straight beam, horizontal beam on the top there by my kitchen, where I took it at an angle that made it look curved just because it's forced perspective. It makes it look curved due to the angle. That's exactly what Soundly did. The guy is actually very dishonest. That's precisely what he did. He took it, he went to a certain level in a certain building, literally said that's why he chose that specific room to get a nice angle, because he knows that angle gives forced perspective. It's given that curve. It's not physically curved. But let's go to the Earth curve calculator. How are we going to work this out now? Because you have the height. What is the target's height? Observer height. Okay, but we're going to say 0 because we just want to see how much curve is supposed to be geometrically. So it's going to have 0 refraction, 0.1 observer height. That's fine. What is the distance? We said 8,500, correct?
Something like that, yeah.
So the distance to surface is 112.9 meters. Horizon dip angle, blah, blah. Horizon refraction. Drop from eye level 0.002. Drop from surface. Sagitta 1.4. Something tells me they should have no hidden height. Look at that.
Man. Wow.
So you shouldn't even have curve on your globe, guys. And this is without refraction.
That Bislin guy actually modelled that image onto a ball, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, how you
Supposedly.
can take this guy serious, I don't know.
Supposedly he did.
Yeah, that's a brilliant example of a Texas sharpshooter fallacy. He's like, "Oh shit, we need to get a globe out of this. Let's make this image become the globe, and then we'll claim victory."
Yeah.
Exactly that. Wow. So yeah, guys, when you look at Lake Pontchartrain and they ever bring it up for you again, go tell them 8,500 meters should show zero curve. What's that showing? Literally
Yeah,
proving
like,
a point.
hey,
It's all
Flatzoid.
optical. Yeah.
I was watching your review of Austin Whitsitt and that Globy McGlobe face. I've not come across him before. He's the latest one off the conveyor belt. Let's see how long it is before he has to disappear. But yeah, but you were so right about Austin in this conversation so much now, and he's a lot better. You are right.
Yeah,
He's definitely upped his game. I'm really proud of Austin these days. He's upped his game for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, guys, I think in future now, when it comes to Lake Pontchartrain, if they ever bring it up, say, okay, show me how much curve you should get in 8,500 meters, please. And then you say, well, then why is this showing us this? Would it be optical? And then they're forced to say, yes, optical. And you say, great. So flat Earth then. This is literally proving a flat Earth. This is literally showing that their model is based on hijacking perspective. Without a doubt.
And if you were going by that anyway, you're meant to, on the globe, you're always meant to be on the apex of it, isn't you? That looks like you're going uphill to get to the apex of it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense at all, you know.
Exactly. That's why they usually ask, like, is
You know, the other thing that
yeah.
You slipped when you were talking to Austin and you were saying he's got you there, Austin. Like your point was this, and he said this, and whatever it was, your point was. I thought you were going to say to him at that time. Austin was saying, "Isn't it a total coincidence that the calculations for angular size resolution limitations, also known as Rayleigh criterion, isn't it a total coincidence that just so happens to be identical to the amount of that they claim is relative to the radius of the Earth?" And he says, yeah, can you show me the maths for that? So he goes through it. He explains it all in detail. And obviously most of us were able to follow most of it. And he didn't follow it because he's never really heard it before. So it's not really fair to expect him to follow it. But overall, I thought when you said he's got you there, what I thought you were going to say was, if there is this limitation to the field of view that we have called the Rayleigh criterion, and you can calculate it, and it just so happens to match what they claim is the radius of Earth. If that was the case, that we had a limitation to the eye, and we were on a ball as well that just so happened to be calculated, it would double up the effect because you've got the limitation of your eye on top of the curve of the Earth. So what it should be showing is a doubling of the perception in the image, because you've got the limitation of your eye, plus it's a globe. It should be one plus the other equals the image that we see. Mm-hmm. And they should be saying, as the radius of the Earth. Therefore, you've got to cut it in half, because otherwise the globe's going to be much bigger than it actually appears. But you didn't get there, and I was like, oh, damn, I didn't realize that's. I was hoping you were going to say that, because it should be a doubling of the Rayleigh criterion if we're really on a globe. Because it should be the limitation of your eye plus the globe together gives us what we see, and you have to cut that in half. Otherwise, you're double compensating for your eyeball, and your eyeball isn't the way the world really is.
Yeah, but I mean, what we did say, I think, was in part one, where we said the globe model doesn't take angular size and perspective into account. So yeah, but I could have said that as well.
It treats all objects like a mountain. 1,000-foot mountain is always the same size, no matter how far away it is, which is why they always think you can see like New York from Paris, because they never account for distance. They never reduce its angular size. They just say, well, this mountain should be 1,000 feet, so we'll put it at 1,000 feet, no matter whether it's a mile away, 60 miles away, a million miles away. It's always 1,000 feet, and they'll draw parallel lines to it, which are never curved lines, but they want curved lines sometimes. But when it suits them, they'll need straight lines. And they'll put these parallel lines in, making you think that you can see that no matter how far away it is. Yet you and I both know that 1,000-foot mountain can't be seen at 30, 35 miles away because of the opacity of the atmosphere. They expect you to believe that you can see that.
Yeah, I actually almost took a video yesterday going to my son's birthday party, because we're driving to the mountains. And as I'm driving to the mountains, we're getting that dolly effect, where the mountains are staying in the exact angular size, and everything, the trees and the mount and everything on the side is coming towards me and getting smaller in angular size. I mean, large in angular size has come towards me, but it looks like those mountains are just pushing back and staying the same angular size, like you would expect the sun to do. I should have taken a video. So I'm going to take a day one day, and I'm going to actually ride that road out again and take a video and show, hang on, guys, this is exactly what we see. Why the sun doesn't actually change in angular size and moves away, and why we see everything closer with parallax gives the effect that we give.
Do you know what was I was driving through the Lake District with the missus recently, and I was looking around because some of the mountains had snow on the tops, and like some of the other mountains did not. And I was trying to work out, was it to do with the height? Because the higher you go, the more likely to get snow. We can all obviously perceive that. We can see why that would be a reasonable thought. But they all seem to be about the same height. Now, okay, some of them were closer, some of them were further away, so they obviously were not the same height. But as you were driving by them all, they all look like they're about the same height. Yet some of them were snow-capped and other ones were not. And what I got the missus to do was look up what is the height of Snaefell. Now, I thought I knew it off the top of my head, but I was looking at these mountains, the taller ones, the ones that I thought were the tallest because they were snow-capped. And I was looking at them, like calculating in my mind or taking a guesstimate of whether these were taller or smaller than Snaefell. Now, Snaefell was, I knew Snaefell's rough height was around about, I think it was 2,000 feet or 2,000 meters smaller than Snaefell. They're nowhere near as big as Snaefell from 35 miles away. You know, it's a monster. It's a really big thing. So I was trying to judge how big were these mountains when I'm right on top of them relative to Snaefell at 34 miles away. I was expecting all these mountains to be smaller than Snaefell. Yet when we actually looked up which mountains they were and how tall they were bigger than Snaefell. And that was what made me realize that when we're looking 34 miles away and we're looking at stuff that looks big, it's not as big as what it looks. It looks massive from 34 miles away, yet they're smaller than the mountains that we're driving through. So that was how I realized that there is a thing called magnification, and you can't perceive what's going on because there's no ruler in the sky for you to perceive it. But I just found it amazing that the mountains that we were driving through, they were bigger than Snaefell, yet they looked smaller than Snaefell because we were right on top of them. And I thought, Snaefell's much taller than these. And it turns out that they weren't. It's completely backwards.
Yeah, you were looking at a concave, right?
Yeah. It's just the effect of the atmosphere. And you know what? It explains why the sun doesn't change its angular size, because like when the sun's like however far away, if the sun's a physical object, right? Let's just say it's a burning ball that's so much closer than what we're told. Because it's still thousands of miles away, right? It's not right on top of us, but it's a lot closer than 93 million miles away. But if we're seeing the sun through a medium that's magnifying it as it's virtually getting smaller, but because of the effect that we're looking through, it's making it look bigger because it's magnifying it. As it gets further and further away, it's magnifying it more and more and more. If they're allowed to have the the sun's 400 times bigger than the moon and it's 400 times further away and it's a total coincidence and we're expected to accept it, then we can equally argue the same argument but in reverse, which is, well, the sun is going further and further away and going smaller, but it just so happens to be getting magnified at exactly the same amount so that you can't perceive that it's getting smaller because it's actually getting magnified as it's going further away. That's a completely acceptable argument if you're going to go with the 400 times further away argument for why the sun and the moon just happen to be exactly the same size.
No, I totally agree. They're very hypocritical on what can be shown and stuff. But yeah, this can be explained and demonstrated all day long on flat surfaces. But they just don't want to accept their hand wave, dismiss it. That's practically all we get from them, unfortunately. But yeah, what can we do? We just have to be honest and keep showing the reality. People that are honest with themselves will actually look into this and say, yeah, okay, maybe there's something to this, you understand? But that's about it. Roger Ledwell again for another $2 super chat. He says, 3 million times the size. Thank you very, very much, man. Yeah, 3 million times the size. Really agree. Appreciate it, man. You rock. Thank you for your super chats. If you guys haven't already, please hit the likes, share the show, and subscribe if you haven't. Really does help to grow the channel. You guys rock.
Claims that this is actual footage of the elusive Earth's curvature. Sorry, Soundly, but you're a liar. And all these websites here that make the same ridiculous globe claim are also lying. Shame on all of you. Just like the genius FTFE, the globe liars always make the claim that we flat earthers don't believe in refraction.
Yeah.
I have spent many hours filming long distances. We flat earthers most certainly believe in refraction. And guess what? This is what refraction looks like.
Yeah, that's really one thing they love to do. Why is it that every time we actually, the ones that saying refraction cause the Earth curve, tell us we don't believe in refraction? How do you get that out of a statement where we say the refraction is what causes your beloved appearance of Earth curve? How's that saying refraction doesn't exist?
They need to be able to call us
Same as
refraction
when
deniers.
That's all they got. They have to lie about us. That's all they got.
Refraction takes what is visible within your line of sight and it distorts, it stretches, it compresses, it mirages, and it obscures your vision. But refraction is certainly not a vision enhancer that enables us to magically see around giant bulges of the Earth. But let's get back to the Pontchartrain curvature. You can see why they won't let go of this lie, because it's pretty convincing for the ignorant and the unobservant. You know, the target audience of the Globe cult channels. But here's an older video from Phuket
Oh, I like
Word,
this one.
but it's
This is the
absolutely
one I'm on about.
perfect. As he
The
fully
good lightning of the Pontchartrain.
But yeah,
That's
this
a good
was
example.
this is a great example.
It's a good one to like it too. It shows you exactly what's going on. And it's got exactly the same effect as the Pontchartrain one.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I think a lot of memes are based on this as well. But it's really,
Okay.
really awesome stuff.
Yeah.
demonstrates to
you wanna
any
put your mouse
honest,
where the
objective,
horizon is?
thinking person
You see, yeah, you can't. You can place the apparent horizon where this is, yeah, but you can see it goes further there with the mirroring. Because an horizon is just an apparent position where the ground and the sky appear to meet.
It's like this is like a game of
So
pin the
it's
tail on the donkey, isn't it? Because there's 2 or 3 places that you could put where the horizon appears to be there. I mean, obviously you've got the one where it looks like visually, but there's also another solid line underneath it that looks like it's mirage on top of. That could be the horizon too, and there's like a mirroring going on above the horizon, like a true superior mirage. You don't know what's going on at the horizon. Sometimes it looks curved, sometimes it looks flat, sometimes it looks totally refracted, sometimes there's very little refraction. Oddly, when there's very little refraction, that's when they claim there's the most refraction. Bizarre,
And,
I know, but that's
and
what they claim.
sometimes it's like, sometimes it can be blurry, sometimes it can be nice and clear. It all just depends probably on the day and the weather. But I mean, if you look at this, it looks like it's mirrored there, and looks like it even is mirrored here as well. You see, it almost gives like a hard edge here as well. Really weird stuff, like it's folding in on itself.
Yeah.
that Soundly's imaginary Pontchartrain curvature.
See, you can even see. See what I'm saying? It's almost like it's folding up on itself there.
Like a funhouse
Is
mirror.
nothing but
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
a mirage, deceptively relabeled as Earth curvature. Look at the comparison side by side. It's unmistakable.
Yeah.
There is no curvature at Pontchartrain. That's an
Exactly. You want to say something?
No, I'm just agreeing with it completely. That's what I was on about earlier. That them two side by side. That's the one. Perfect examples of each other.
obvious effect of light bending. You know, actual
I love when he
refraction.
drives through. Yeah, check yeah.
Do these liars know that their curvature claim has been debunked 100% without question? Of course they know. But sadly, they continue to lie.
Somebody's writing antipodal to him. At the same time. Wow. That's amazing trick.
His bicycle is becoming a ghost bicycle, and he's starting to fly in the air.
Yeah, man.
Look at that.
But here's my question. Where are all of the honest globe
Look, his
supporters
legs are getting straight.
getting after these liars like Soundly and Bislin for spreading misinformation?
See the compression going on.
Wow.
His legs are even getting stretched while it's getting compressed lower down by the bicycle tire. Look how small that bicycle tire is, but look how stretched his legs are getting.
Mhm.
And this is exactly what we were talking about where Roger was saying the marshmallow buildings. Exactly that.
Mhm.
Okay. But yeah, I still don't know how people can look at stuff like this and say, oh, no, globe. Definitely globe. It's like, what?
No.
Red's Rhetoric? Sinan Dan? Mick
Hey,
West?
there's a marine of him. You see there?
Mr. Sensible? FTFE? Anybody?
Nope. Just cricket.
Now that's why I don't believe any of these people anymore, because truth is not important to them.
Not at all.
One iota.
Not at all.
Fortunately, a flat earther did go out and filmed Pontchartrain with a P900 and proved the Earth is flat.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the video.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
You see now he didn't take the angle that Soundly took, so he didn't get that forced perspective curved angle that I'm talking about.
Mhm.
It shows you Soundly knew about it because he was very specific to be on a specific floor in a specific room because he needed that angle. So Soundly literally tried to be deceptive to everybody. Literally.
Exactly.
Why can we see the other shoreline from here?
Mm.
Oh no, look when he zooms back.
What I really like is the comparison on Bislin's website that shows what the flat Earth and the globe Earth are supposed to look like when modeled out. Do I even need to ask which one represents reality? Why hasn't Bislin linked to this very flat Pontchartrain video, even out of intellectual honesty?
Exactly.
What's even more ridiculous is the fact that these liars claim that this flat Earth footage that you're watching is actually refraction, magically removing the Earth bulge without a trace and lifting all of the distant transmission lines to appear as though the Earth is flat. Really?
Yeah.
To the honest observer, which video is evincing the telltale signs of refraction? This one, where you can see the actual miraging and bending of the light? Or this one, where you can even see the structures on the other side of Pontchartrain displaying a true flat Earth?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously? The flat Earth truth is painfully obvious, but I'm pretty sure it will probably escape this genius here.
Real man of genius.
That's it for today.
Yeah.
God bless.
Why would they assemble and test something on Earth that is designed to spend its entire life cycle in space?
Wow.
Wow. You actually asked that.
Because you can't test it in space.
I think it's quite obvious, yeah.
Wow.
What the...
I don't think. What a thing to say.
But notice that have they found any footage of people using, for instance, them testing rockets inside a vacuum yet, or testing astronaut suits in a vacuum yet? No. With that. But they're more than willing to say, no, it works in space though.
Didn't last astronaut that went in a vacuum nearly die?
Oh, yeah. The pipe came loose and then he instantly passed out because he could feel the saliva on his tongue starting to boil.
YouTube, he says he sounds like he drives a combine harvester. He has got that kind of sort of
Bristol
Gloucestershire
accent,
kind
innit?
of accent. Yeah, Bristol, Gloucestershire kind of Bristol kind of accent. I'll drive my combine harvester and I'll give you the key.
Oh wow. Hey, Mr. Schooler, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, man. Dave McKee.
Hello again, everyone. Hope you're doing well, and thanks for joining us for another video. Now, for centuries, it's been an established fact that the reason ships sailing out to sea disappear from the bottom up is...
Sorry, I got to break that down. Established fact. Total
Established fact.
cock. Total
Absolutely.
bullshit. Those
What?
words
You're
are
not established
lies.
The moment they say that kind of sentence, you know that it's a lie that's going to follow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's not established fact.
Of course not. They call
According
it
to the
established fact.
heliocentric
Definitely
religion,
not.
it's affirming the consequent. That's it, but it's not established fact. This is going to get bad. But yeah, as soon as they say that, you know.
Is due to the curvature of Earth blocking our line of sight. Disappear from the bottom up is due to the curvature of Earth.
Right out the gate, he shows us the effects of an inferior mirage and calls it Earth curve instead.
Not a good start.
Not a good start, Dave.
Disappear from the bottom up is due to the curvature of Earth.
Demonstrate how that lens bends light waves to create a mirage. Ed
Yeah, I loved how on this documentary they had, the Smithsonian, how when it came out, remember how everyone was just debunking it left, right, and center and showing how they were deceptive and editing
Oh, is this
and
the one with the birds
splicing.
flying by? And
Yeah, they were splicing the video footage.
yeah, they were.
Oh.
in a helicopter.
Okay, come toward us at maybe 10 knots.
I mean, look at this. This is like insane.
Just now, the ground is much warmer than the air above it. This creates a gradient of hot to cold air. And since cold air is denser or heavier than warm air, the two air masses create distinct layers. Those layers act like a lens, bending and distorting our familiar reality. The result is a classic mirage, where objects appear below their actual position.
As the helicopter lands, you see its landing gear begin to vanish into the mirage. This is only one of a few different ways bottom-first obstruction occurs on our flat Earth.
Sequence is one of my favorite sequences with mirages. You can see it in the distance. You don't know what that is. It looks like a spaceship coming at you. It's a black blob, and this is on a highway.
On a highway.
You have no idea what it is, and slowly it emerges. It still looks like a spaceship right there.
Yeah. It's floating in the air.
It's floating in the air. It seems to be floating in the air. But then when we get up here, you see it. It's a car with two trucks behind it.
How does a Globie look at this and say, no, definitely Earth curve? I can't see it. I just can't see how a person can be honest with themselves and say everything that you're seeing shows curve or a globe. It boggles my mind.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? That just shows that your eyes can deceive you.
Eyes can deceive you, yeah.
Well, it's not your eyes that are deceiving you. Your eyes aren't deceiving anything. What it is the lens of the air between your object and what you're seeing. Yeah. That's the deception.
So, lens. So, you guys would agree the guy actually confirms then that you get lensing effects through the atmos.
Yeah.
So we do get things like magnification, and with when we had Rob Skiba do his demonstration with the Fresnel lens, it shows validation then to what we see in reality. Because that's why we can say the lensing effect gives the sun not changing its angular size, apparent angular size, because of the lensing effect. That's why as it moves away in the distance, it's able to go down below the horizon. Anthony, I don't know if you watched that stream we had where Pitch Lumen was debating FTF McToon. And McToon debunked everything he said, because he said he did a demonstration himself using a lens, a magnifying glass, and on a flat surface, and it changed the location of that light, and it made it go out further and lower below the table. So McToon literally debunked himself by doing a demonstration using lensing effecting.
Who was the other person? McToon against who?
Pitch Lumen. Nathan from Pitch Lumen?
No, I didn't see that. I don't watch anything from McToon. The guy's one of the most dishonest people out there.
Oh yeah,
It makes
yeah,
me sick when I listen to him talking because he's like overtly lying.
Oh yeah, that guy's he's literally out to deceive people. He's got an agenda full on. There's no doubt about that. But I want to cut it out when he said that, because I think it's things that everybody should see. And if you ever have a glober saying, but no, you can't have the sun setting on a flat earth, then we play that where McToon says he demonstrated it. What a way to shoot himself in the foot. Thank you, Roger Little, for another $2 super chat, man. Really appreciate it. He says, real men knows when to quit. That's also true.
Yeah.
But I think the problem comes with these people. They don't know how to quit because everything. I mean, think how good they're getting paid from this.
They can't. They just can't concede. They just won't concede.
That's crazy.
No, they won't.
They won't concede.
And like you say about to get paid.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. I mean, look at it from a logical standpoint.
We're getting paid to
if they
lie.
had to today, yeah, if they had to today.
Well, if you're paying a mortgage with it.
But I mean, think about it. If they today had to sit there and say, sorry, guys, I can't do this anymore. The earth is flat. Do you think they would be successful on YouTube anymore?
Of course not.
Because you guys know the biggest bigots you can get on the internet are anti-flat earth globers.
Yeah.
They'll lose all their subscribers.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ranty, for example. He claims that he swapped sides and then his channel nosedived because no one believed that he was actually a baller.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if it was genuinely true. Imagine that you were like someone, I don't know, like Soundly or Red's Rhetoric, and you actually converted. Your channel's dead.
It's gone. I mean, you can get there's a positive effect from going from flat to globe side kind of thing, because you got a lot of bigots on the globe side that are going to say, oh, you guys, you see, we won. We just took one of your guys, we converted them to our religion. But as soon as someone from their side is going to say, listen here, guys, I can't do this anymore, I think it's flat, they're going to lose everything. They're not going to get their $10,000, $20,000 a month anymore. They're not going to have any subscribers anymore. You know what I mean? Because their audience wants to hear it's a globe. They want to be soothed. You know what I mean? It's like having a spoiled brat stealing something, and you know it's wrong, but you say, no, it's okay, Johnny. You didn't know better because you were taught this way. You know, that's how they are. They will rather go and lie to the audience because it's what they want to hear. As soon as they're going to actually be open and say, no, that's not the thing, they'll lose everything. And I can guarantee you that.
Luke says, oh, look at Rich. Didn't she gain subscribers? Oh, I haven't got a clue. She lost me. She didn't gain me.
No. She gained trolls now.
Yeah, gained trolls. Oh, yeah. But
She's literally become a troll account. You know who's busy pushing her channels out? Oh, I know. The what's those people? The Wolf Pack.
Yeah.
They're all just pushing her content out to get her subscribers. Oh, she's so brave. She started thinking for herself. And then when you go look at her content now, you're like, what is this bullshit? What's this rubbish she's showing? Literally not. She doesn't have any content of value. It's literally taking things, trying their best to misrepresent people, make shit up, and not do anything other than troll people.
Last time she just, remember that video she put up? She didn't even narrate, comment, or anything in it. All she did is put a few letters up on the screen, few words up on the screen, correcting things and that. The first person she corrected was Luch, who's a glober anyway. From, what was it, 0.3 to 0.03, because he said 0.3, something like that.
It's crazy.
But yeah, she didn't do anything. All she did was left it on record, I suppose, then just stuck it out the way it is with a few overlays. That was it. A few inserts. Sorry.
Yeah,
She didn't narrate.
Didn't give
She didn't comment.
actual anything to respond to. It's like, okay.
No.
Roger Lidwell, thank you again for another $2 super chat. They would have to get a real job. I guess so. Definitely they'll have to get a real job. And I don't think they're used to having a real job. Thank you very, very much, man. I appreciate the super chat. You rock. But yeah, when it comes to Rachie, I think she just follows the fads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's what I see that night. Yeah.
She wants where she's getting the attention. And that's why she's trying her darndest now to get my attention.
Mm.
And I'm just literally just ignoring her because I just don't see anything coming from her side of substance, you know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah, so Luke, I wasn't dissing you for getting it wrong. I was just saying that the first person she corrected was a Glober. You know what I mean? That was it. You know, she didn't say anything at all in that video.
Because the one thing I can't get, especially like with Ranty, all the things he was pushing all those years, compression, the angular size change, the perspective, everything. Literally when he became a Glober, quote unquote, and I even tried to debate him on this, he literally acted like he never said those things. He's like, he just threw it away, and those things don't exist anymore. There's no compression in the air. There's no ready perspective. There's no angular size. Literally, he just threw it all away. It's like, dude, what's wrong with you? I can literally create.
Funny, I remember listening to him. I remember him listening.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but there's like loads of lag. I don't know if it's my end or if it's the program or whatever.
I
but
think
it's
it's you,
lag.
Anthony.
But I remember when Ranty was basically. Is it? I am doing something else in the background. It probably is me, but I remember Ranty's reason was like he said, "quote All I wanted to see was evidence of curvature where I live in my area." And I'm like, yeah, but you've been to Hoylake. You went to Hoylake with me 30 plus miles, and you're not meant to see any of Blackpool Tower apart from the tippy top. And you could see the whole promenade. You could almost see cars. You couldn't see cars. I'm exaggerating. But Ranty saw his hometown from 30 plus miles away. It's supposed to be well behind the curve of the earth. And he saw it with his own two eyes through a P900. And I'm like, how can you dismiss that, Ranty? You've seen it real world. And that's how I know that he has to have been lying, because he has to dismiss what he's seen with his own.
I still think he's a flat earther. And that's why he's not around anymore. It's just too emotionally painful for him to be able to keep lying.
I never believed he
I think he got paid out because he needed the money. We all know he was very desperate for money and stuff. And if someone approaches you,
I remember him before the show went to Brandon. I remember him saying in one of his streams, he's saying, "Look, I'm gonna have to look for work. I mean, I'm putting out content, and none of you are helping me." That's kind of what he was saying. He says, "I'm gonna have to go look for work." I remember him saying that. So he was hard to start for cash, definitely.
Is Brandon still around? I've not heard his name for a long time.
He's just disappeared. One day.
I know. I mean,
the turning point for Ranty?
Yeah.
Do you remember the video that he released called Infectico, which was all to do with like COVID and all that? That was the turning point. It was just before that. The moment he did that video, I just thought, you're gone. That's it. I don't know what's going to happen now, but I know what's not going to be around much longer. He got paid off. Someone paid him a lot of money to say stuff, and that's what he's done.
I mean, he even admitted, I think, at a stage that people contacted him to pay him out. So, So yeah, I still believe Ranty does know it's flat, guys, and he literally had to lie and stuff so he can be able to make a living.
He can't.
It's just too much for him to carry on. Yeah.
He can't put up the observations he did, brilliant observations, and say that he's a Glober. You can't. No way. So I believe he's still a flat earther.
Yeah. I mean, you can't literally do streams for years on compression, angular size change, mirages, perspective, everything. And then one day just say, oh, no, those things don't exist. It's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's unfortunately the sad part of it.
Reported what video for misinformation? What are you talking about? Yeah. Well, there you go, Luke.
However,
So
flat
happens.
earthers obviously have to offer a different explanation, and the reason that I've seen most commonly given is due to the Rayleigh criterion, sometimes phrased along the lines of it's perspective or it's a limit to our vision, which it's not. So in this
What? Which it's not. Literally, literally, limit our vision is limit our vision. And yes, it is a limit of vision. Can I ask you guys a question? If I got a strand of hair on a piece of paper, you can see it right in front of your face. Now, what if I move that strand of hair on that piece of paper 2 meters away? Can you see it? No.
Probably not. No.
But now let's move it 100 meters away. Would you still see it?
Definitely not.
Now let's maybe do the same now, but with a camera. 2 meters away, we can see it with a camera. Let's move 100 meters away. Maybe we won't be able to see it with a camera. I wonder why that is. But now we take a telescope out. We can see it 2 meters away. Yeah?
Sorry, I'm just talking to Alice. I'm on mute.
And with the telescope, then you'll be able to see it with the 2 meters away. And then 100 meters away, you can still see it. But now you move it even further away again, you can't see it again. Why? It has reached the limit of our vision. That's why it's called the Rayleigh criterion. The diffraction limit. I think that limit word is very important. But we found out Dave McKeegan, this is Dave McKeegan's spiel, always trying to sound like he knows what he's talking about with confidence. But in the meantime, yeah, he just peaks a whole bunch of gobbledygook.
Do you remember that video that Rancy did? It was one of his last videos before he vanished, and it was to do with the light from the sun and photons hitting your eye. I can't remember the point of the video, but he was basically acting in a way that was so scripted and so not Ranty. It was obvious it wasn't him talking. It wasn't his normal
I think you even gave. Tone. I think you even gave a statement on it saying this doesn't seem like Ranty. I remember you actually even saying it just doesn't sound right.
It's not Ranty at all.
Yeah.
It's somebody else's script, like somebody like Conspiracy Cats, maybe. Somebody's told him this is what you need to say and this is how you need to present it. And he was trying to present it in a way that made him sound like he was a teacher, which made me think it was Conspiracy Cats. But the reality was you could tell that wasn't Ranty talking. It was somebody else. And it was so vomit-inducing. I was like, what are you doing? You're being paid to tap dance. There's somebody above you with strings. You, like Geppetto's above you with strings and pulling on this and your arm goes up and pulling on that and your leg goes up. That's what he was doing. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah, it did seem very scripted. Cheers, Mrs. Schooler. Thanks for coming, man. Appreciate you being here.
Video I'm going to try and break down as simply as possible to show why. The problem with all of this is that objects disappearing due to being unresolvable don't disappear from the bottom up like flat earthers claim.
But we can demonstrate it like flat earthers claim. Literally, we demonstrate it. We've explained this so many times. And I mean, this is also where it comes into that with that brick analogy that you're talking about Nathan. Anthony? That's exactly that.
Yeah. This is exactly. This is another guy that's so scripted. This guy doesn't talk like this in real world. I can tell. You can tell. He does not talk like he's. He goes down the pub and he's like me and you chatting now. He's very normal, very colloquial, but it's almost like he's reading somebody's script because I noticed he's got this.
You think he sounds like Cats?
Yeah, he's got that scripted nature that Cats talks like. It's almost like you've got Conspiracy Cats in the room with him. That's how bad it is.
It actually seems like he's presenting a TV program, not a YouTube video.
But I've realized a lot of these people, it's like they got this, almost like they have the same kind of script writers. You know what I mean? Like there's some kind of group that they sit together and let's write our scripts together. It has the same nuance kind of way of speaking.
Do you know who else sounds just like Ranty and Dave McKeegan? What's his name now? The guy that claims he was a flat earther that he's got a skinhead.
Oh man.
Yes, him. He's the same. He sounds like he's being coached by someone.
But
he doesn't.
That guy has never been a flat earther though, ever.
Never.
No, but that's the guy I was thinking of.
STST, that guy. Wow, what a dishonest guy. Nope, definitely
Yep.
never been a flat earther, and you can easily see. Even that's another point you make. When you go to look at his first first flat Earth stuff he was showing, okay,
Yeah,
you could just
the
say it
earth is
looked like.
flat because my fence lines up with the sky.
But the point I'm trying to bring is it looked very satire. You know what I mean? Just fake, no passion, nothing. But as soon as he started talking about he's becoming a glober, it seemed scripted.
Passionate.
Literally,
Yeah.
he had more to say. It was more structured. It had counter arguments to things. You know what I mean? And he spoke in more of a reading way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he was told, go and make the shittest flat earth video possible. And then in 6 months' time, we're going to come back to it and say how you've changed your mind. It was like, it was the worst flat earth video I've ever seen.
It was useless.
Mhm.
The stuff
Awful.
he brought out was really bad.
Yeah, my fence lines up with the clouds or the sky, so it's flat earth, guys.
Idiotic.
Brilliant.
And I mean,
Brilliant.
even to this day, you can ask him what does the flat Earth actually, and he'll say flying this pizza in space. No, that's not what flat Earth is. That already shows you the guy was never flat Earther. Thank you, Roger Little, for another $2 super chat. Says, I want QE to treat Dave. I think he's already treated him many, many times, but Dave is too scared to actually go to get treated. I mean, the guy won't even chat to me. But yeah, it's sad. By the way, it's good to see everybody, yeah?
For example, I had Brian's Logic arguing with me a while ago, saying that
I'm not Brian's Logic, Flatzoid, or any other person you have made videos about. Claiming to debunk one person's words does not debunk the entire body of knowledge that is out there. Oftentimes when angular resolution is up for debate, globe proponents along with some flat earth proponents will fail to mention the effects a visible surface has on your perspective. Any visible flaw, such as land and water, wall or ceiling, will compress your visual angles when looking along it, depending on the distance from the surface. When there is no visible surface, such as looking up at the sky, your visual angles remain open. This all plays a huge role in how far we can actually see. We will go into further detail soon, but let's continue.
This is one thing I have to say, which I agree with him. Why is it they always want to bring up other people? I mean, you've guys seen this when I debate a globe or something, or any of us. They will bring Nathan and QE up into it for some odd reason. Or Brian's Logic, or 10th Man, or some. They'll have to bring someone else into the argument that's got nothing to do with the argument.
Exactly.
we can't see a 6-foot object 3 miles away, so therefore we can't see the bottom 6 foot of any object 3 miles away. But his reason for that was that it had to be either due to perspective or due to the globe horizon.
Yeah.
That it can't be both. That objects can't appear to both get smaller and smaller as they get further away, but then also be blocked by the physical curvature of Earth.
Brian was partially right in saying that Earth curve calculators do not take any part of perspective into account, but of course angular resolution will always apply, no matter the shape of any surface you're on. Dave is simply taking advantage of a poorly constructed argument that failed to mention the proximity of a viewer to that of a surface.
Okay, this I disagree with the guy saying, yeah. It's very correct what Brian's saying, not partially correct. There is no angular size change taken into account in the Earth curve calculators. Nothing whatsoever. This guy is saying it's by proxy or by default it's there. No, it's not there.
Oh.
At all.
No.
So that's a bit wrong from this guy.
Except you only have to stand next to an inclined road to know that that's not the case. You can see cars driving up a hill and they will appear to get smaller and smaller as they get further from you. Once they crest the hill, they begin to disappear bottom up. And that's because the Earth is blocking our line of sight to them.
Wow, that is like...
Dude.
No shit, Sherlock.
Wow.
You see, this is
Well,
exactly what I
dude.
say. He says it with such confidence,
Yeah,
like
just
he's
a
actually
man.
saying something of value.
Exactly. And he's just a straw man and
It's the same as saying heat makes you hot, and then think that's some kind of epiphany.
yeah.
The problem with the globe, though, is that Earth hill or bulge is simply not there.
Mhm.
This has been demonstrated in several different ways, including that of VHF waves and other line-of-sight technologies. Here are just two examples.
Before the start of World War II, German scientists developed a blind landing navigation system for aircraft.
I know FED covered this recently as well. I have to correct Nathan though. There is diffraction of waves with hills and things though, but McKeegan was misrepresenting that refraction.
Yeah, but it's so small. It's the
exactly.
so-called refraction is it's less than
It's
negligible.
negligible. It's very
It's less
small.
than negligible.
You
Yeah.
still need line of sight. Why do you think you get, for instance, 5G and whatever? Because they're literally making it strong enough to bombard through the buildings. You know what I mean? So Nathan, because he said that you don't get refraction in there, which was wrong, but McKeegan was wrong because he's misrepresenting the diffraction. He's misrepresenting how much it diffracts. So yeah, both ways it's actually wrong. But McKeegan, I actually wanted to do a video on it. It's really, really badly done. McKeegan did a poor job trying to debunk this. Also note that McKeegan was showing over a horizontal, not a vertical, when he's trying to debunk this as well. Where, you know, he takes the different towers and saying, you see, they're picking up their signals horizontally, by the way, and trying to say that how somehow means it's going over Earth curve, which is really sad. You should take that video down. It's quite embarrassing for him.
Essentially, aircraft tuned in to a certain frequency would know the location of the center of the runway by using a radio beacon as a guide.
Mm-hmm.
After World War II broke out, German military scientists soon realized that the same technology could enable German bombers to locate specific targets in England even in the darkest of nights. This secret system was called Knickebein. In short, the radio beam from a single transmitter would guide the German bombers on a line towards the target, but one beam could not tell the bomber when they were over the target. A second transmitter was set up so its beam crossed over the target, indicating when the airplanes should drop the bombs. British intelligence, led by R.V. Jones, slowly became aware that such bombing beams may have existed, and presented the information to Frederick Lindemann, Winston Churchill's leading science advisor. But Lindemann and others said such a targeting system would be impossible, because the supposed curvature of the Earth would block the high-frequency beams, because VHF waves do not even allegedly bend around the curvature of the Earth.
Dr. Jones took the message to Professor Lindemann, his old tutor and now scientific advisor to Winston Churchill, and tried to persuade him of the serious threat posed by the Knickebein beams. But Lindemann was not convinced, pointing out that at the high frequencies necessary for an accurate beam, the curvature of the Earth would prevent its being directed against targets in Britain.
Lindemann was conceptually and mathematically right. VHF beams would require a direct line of sight with the German bombers, and England was simply too far away.
Also note that he said high frequency accurately. So to get it accurately, you need high frequency.
This is like just before you press play, like when I hear about this point, this is a really true point. It's a good point, but it's totally trumped by Marconi. If you remember what Marconi did,
And then they came up with the ionosphere.
Yeah. He basically bent radio waves all around the Earth, according to their nonsense, because he was able to make a successful radio transmission of Morse code from, where was it? I think it was Cornwall over to Newfoundland.
Very far,
I think it was Nova Scotia.
Nova
on the east
Scotia,
coast
yeah, I
of,
think so.
and then he went and did it from South Wales to Australia. Now, regardless of how you explain that, think about how far away these two distant observations actually are, or two distant tests are. And if the Earth was a globe, why would Marconi even try and do these?
Precisely.
Marconi must have known. It doesn't make sense if the Earth's a globe for you to even consider it, let alone try it and fail or try it and succeed. You just wouldn't do it because the Earth curve's supposed to stop. It's not supposed to be possible to bend it all the way around. But they need a just so story to explain it, and that's what the ionosphere is all about.
But why don't you? But I mean, I think you've also realized they always have some kind of excuse to make that when they get shown. But I mean, if something gets claimed by a globe, okay, and someone now shows it's false, they have what you call the God of the gaps argument. So they're going to create an excuse to say no, why it's still a globe, but it's been debunked. And that's exactly what they did with Marconi. That's why they created the ionosphere. And that's exactly what Dave McKeegan's trying to do here by saying, oh, but look at how much megahertz they're using. So therefore, it follows due to his very magical diffraction to give what they need. They literally just make God of the gaps arguments. Because as soon as it shows their globe wrong, they have to make up some kind of excuse why it has to still be a globe. That's practically all the globe does on anything, even when it comes to space. I mean, I don't know if you've heard recently, they found an apparent fresh star that's only supposedly 100,000 years old now. And this star is emitting water vapor.
Oh, so young and so impossible.
Yeah. A star, guys, is emitting water vapor in a vacuum.
The minute anyone says water, I always think of that's the number one question for how did the oceans of the world get here? Because they don't have an explanation for it. Where does it come from? How did it get here?
That's why they got this story up now. They're saying this could be the reason why we have water on Earth, because the stars, when it's young, emits water vapor.
That's another example of a brilliant just so story. They need a correction to explain it, don't they? Oh shit, they got us cornered. We need an explanation here. Let's just come up with some random nonsense and claim it, and it'll be believed by NASA idiots.
But last time I checked, nuclear fission, as they say they claim the stars to be, is very hot. What do the nuclear reactors in the nuclear reactors use to cool it down? Water. Why would they need to cool it down with water if nuclear fission gave its own water? And the people still believe that nonsense. Thank you again for another $2 super chat, Roger Ledwell. You are really a superstar, man. Really, really appreciate it. It says no static at FM. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I don't really listen to much radio, though. Most of the time, we got our Bluetooth running, so.
Hey, Flatzoid. Who's that guy that I was talking to recently about whether the air had weight? What was his name?
Oh, Luch.
Right,
he's just been timed out.
Oh, he's just been timed out.
Well, about half an hour ago.
We should still organize a chat between you guys.
Yeah. He says he's got an answer for you. He says he's got an answer for you.
Well, anyway. I'm here now, Luch. So I'm waiting.
Yeah, Luch, if you're listening, come in. Sleeping Warrior's got the link's not there though, is it?
Yeah, it's not tonight. We can organize a time. You can message me on Discord.
Yeah.
And I can organize.
Cool. But yeah, he did say he's got an answer for you, Sleeping Warrior.
But yeah, you want to say something, Anthony?
No, I was just letting him know if he was around that I'm here to hear. I'm here to listen to his nonsense. Arrange it, Luch, because I'm dying to know how you explain how this is the opposite of what your believed claim actually is. That air has got weight, so when you remove that weight, things should get lighter in a vacuum, but in real world they get heavier. Meaning that the atmosphere, if it's got any weight to it, it would be negative weight. I want to hear what your explanation for that retardia is.
It's crazy. Oh, don't worry. Rachel's tried to answer that for him already, So if you want to watch that, go watch her nonsense.
Just give me the synopsis. I don't want to. I don't have time.
Let's put it this way. Nuh-uh, gravity's a thing. That's it.
There are no words. No words.
I got nothing. Oh wow. Okay. Let's carry on.
Craziness.
The first of these Knickerbein transmitters was set up on Stolberg Hill near Denmark. Another transmitter was set up at Kleve in western Germany. Stolberg Hill was located 443 miles away from Derby, England. The hill was only 142 feet high, and the transmitter was 152 feet high for a combined height of 294 feet. Based on the globe math, the Earth's curvature would hide 118,425 feet. The other transmitter was in Kleve.
I also have to say, this is one thing that I don't think any of them picked up. That 118,000 feet of curvature is only from one way. It still has to go the other way around the curve as well.
Yeah.
Think of drawing a circle or a sphere, and you got the one side showing a straight horizontal line and the other side showing a straight, well, not horizontal, just a straight line going up, and the other one showing straight. They both have to be the same. So it's 118,000 for the one side and 118,000 for the other side.
Shout out to
it only has an elevation of 30.
Sorry?
Shout out to Taboo Conspiracy. Like, look at the way that word on the screen is written. Derby, right?
Derby,
I don't know why. Like, we're normally really like peculiar with how we pronounce things. So we say things properly. We actually pronounce that town name as Derby, not Derby.
Derby,
Even though it's written Derby. I don't know why we say it's Derby, but that is the way it's pronounced, Derby.
Derby.
It is, yeah. Fair play to him for getting it right, especially when it's not pronounced Derby.
Oh, stupid Brits getting it wrong, eh?
But some of the American spellings do make more sense. You know, like we have we say center and it's RE at the end rather than ER. They have an ER. It makes more sense to be R than centre. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
It's like when David Ginola or David Ginola used to play in Premier League football. We're English, right? And we would pronounce that guy's name as David Ginola. But because it sounds so much better to say David Ginola, and you have that little bit of French twang, we'll deliberately mispronounce it because we're not. It's when in Rome do as the Romans do, it should be David Ginola. But because it sounds better, we have to mispronounce it, even though we know it's not the way it should be said.
Exactly.
Of course.
39 feet combined with a 100-foot tower. 139-foot height with a distance of 331 miles means that the curvature of the Earth would hide 66,722 feet. In other words, under the globe, a German bomber would need to be higher than 118,425 feet to be within the line of sight of the Knickerbein system. But the maximum cruising altitude of a German bomber was only 19,200 feet. Without question, it was impossible under the globe for those German bombers to be within line of sight of the Knickerbein towers. But Knickerbein did work, and English lives were lost as Churchill's scientific advisors couldn't believe in the VHF Knickerbein system when the Earth's curvature should have made it impossible.
Yeah, that's what happens when you just take a belief system over what's actually happening. This is exactly it. That's why we laugh at these Globers when they say when the snipers have to take Coriolis into account and stuff. If they did that, they wouldn't be a very good sniper, would they? They'd be dead before they worked out their Coriolis effects.
You could really pose a really good scientific hypothesis there, couldn't you? If the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 59 miles, then all flights from wherever it was in Germany would never be able to hit their targets because the Knickerbein system would always fail because of the Earth curve, right? Mm-hmm. So there would be no deaths because it couldn't possibly work. Yeah, we all know that Blitzkrieg was successful, and they'll be like, "Hang on a minute, how are they doing this? The Earth's a sphere. What are we getting wrong here, Charles?"
Exactly, but that's the reason I say. So they have to then make an excuse on why it's still a globe, even though it's literally been debunked. Yeah, it's crazy. Thank you again, Roger Little, for another $2 super chat. He says FM's the best proof. I agree. definitely. It does show credence to being a flat Earth for sure. Thank you very much for your super chat, man.
It reminds me of. Do you remember that guy, that Minister of Defense for Iraq? His name was. We called him Comical Ali. He was known in Iraq as Chemical Ali. And in the background, America are invading Iraq, and there's bombs going off like right in close proximity. Like you can hear them, you can see them. They're there, right? Americans are in Iraq, and he's there on state TV and telling the Iraqis that America is not in Iraq, and literally stuff's going off around him. This is like what they're like when they're saying, "Don't worry, they won't be able to bomb our cities because the Earth's a ball." And then obviously Blitzkrieg comes and blows hell out of everybody, and loads of people die. How stupid must you look if that was the reason that they actually gave? Don't worry, Churchill, it's a globe. It won't work. Possibly can't work. And then we're all getting blown up at night times. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's idiotic.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Salt and Spin said Riley said he could see Ireland. So what?
So
what if he could see
this
Ireland?
is again them misrepresenting what you did say, by the way.
And it's not that far away.
It really doesn't matter. Who cares? The simple fact is there are thousands of observations that demonstrate that we're not on a sphere. The question is, how far can we actually see? What stops us from seeing? Is it the Earth curve? No. How far can we actually see? Yeah, it's all optical, and it's all to do with things like humidity and precipitation on the day and mist, and none of that's taken into consideration when you guys do your nonsense calculations.
I mean, I've got an airfield just down the road from me, and there's mountains down there where you can see. Some mornings I can't see the mountains at all. Some mornings I can see the mountains. Some mornings I can only see half the mountains. Is the Earth breathing? Really idiotic.
Yeah, it's obviously different varying amounts of refraction. Sometimes it's behind the horizon. Sometimes it's not behind the horizon. It's a perfect globe proof, that Flatzoid.
But last time I checked, refraction is optical, not physical.
It's anything that they want it to be when they need it to be the case.
Wow. I should actually take a video of those time lapses of that sometime. Be quite cool.
Very high frequency requires a direct line of sight. Wikipedia confirms the same, as it reads, as the transmitters were more or less in line of sight to high altitude bombers. This article here confirms it as well. But as I just showed, Wikipedia lied, as German bombers would have been nearly 100,000 feet below the globe's geometric horizon and certainly not within line of sight of the towers.
And this always have to point out where Dave McKeegan was dishonest. He was playing on the words that that Ben was saying the only the line of sight, almost line of sight. Dave McKeegan failed to mention that even almost line of sight would mean around over 100,000 feet.
There you have it. Only under the
Sorry?
It's the ever applicable, infinitely variable, instant refraction that's always there, ready to come forward. It's like a get out of jail free card for them, isn't it? Like, you know, like you get Monopoly and you throw your double sixes and you end up in jail, and they go, "Ha! I've got to get out of jail free card." That's what they do. They just flip out the refraction card and go, "You can't get me. I've got my refraction card."
Exactly. No, it's insane. I see we got 108 votes already on the thing. The globe hijack perspective to call it physical Earth curve. What the hell? 57% of people say yes, it's a given. No, I don't get how things work, 32%, and could be 10%. Interesting. Okay.
Flat Earth model, could the Knickebine system work? And the globe propagandists have no counter-argument but to lie and claim that the bombers were somehow in line of sight of the Knickebine towers when that would have been mathematically impossible. German bombing beams proved there is no Earth curvature. Hello, everyone.
Okay.
I first wanted to thank Scott from Israel.
I think we're going to end here for tonight. And then tomorrow night we can go on with this again. So just remember 830 miles. This was awesome as well. And then what do the Globies make excuse? No, that's not actually what you're seeing.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's insane. Well, what do you guys have to say on tonight's stream? Do you guys like this?
Yeah, I think it was brilliant. I think it's good. I think it's good. Excellent video from him. Taboo, without a doubt, brilliant.
I hope somebody.
Carry on, more, Anthony.
I hope somebody picks up that guy that was on the video saying that. What was his name now? The guy, the one that Austin was talking to. What was his name? Globy McGlobeface.
Globy McGlobeface.
I hope somebody picks him up because he was saying that flat earthers say this all the time, but they've never demonstrated it. And he was referring to how you can basically re-zoom into the horizon and you can bring stuff back. And then Austin was saying, yeah, well, if you were to record what was in binocular vision and then you were to upgrade that to a P900 and then upgrade that to like a big fat telescope, one of those stubby ones with a massive aperture, you would then be able to continuously bring stuff back if you were able to see far enough to be able to do it on a good enough day. That's that kind of thing that he states where they keep saying that and they've never demonstrated it. That's the kind of thing that we need to pin these guys on because you can do that. Austin was 100% correct. If you've got different technology that's got the different ability to see further and you put them side by side, when you get to the limitation of the angle of that piece of technology, you're not looking at Earth curve because you're just getting the distance further and further and further each time. You just get into the limit of that camera and you call it an Earth curve. And that was that. The guy's lying, and I could see that straight away. Austin's answer was perfect. That needs pinning on him forever because he keeps saying it, or he did make a big deal of it, and it's just wrong.
Oh, it was evidently wrong. I mean, as time went on, he was getting drunker as well, and it was just plain to see.
It was just trolling, weren't it?
Obfuscating and trolling. Yeah, that's it.
But that's all they have at the end of the day.
Gun says I'm Globy McGlobe Shithead. That's what
well, that guy's a dishonest guy.
He is.
He
is.
But yeah, guys,
all good. Good stream. It
was a good stream. I was going to say thank you for everybody that came. All you guys. Really appreciate it. Appreciate all the super chats. Thank you, Roger Ledwell. Really gave a lot of super chats tonight. Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody here that hit the likes and share the show. If you haven't hit the likes, why not? If you're not subscribed yet, why not? And if you haven't shared, also why not? Come on. I'm sure it takes nothing out of you guys just to hit that like. Really appreciate everybody. Appreciate you guys on the panel. I'm enjoying this series. I think it's going to be a nice series that we can go through a lot of stuff. Obviously, we're starting off with taboo conspiracy stuff. Then we'll obviously go later on more in depth of the maths and everything involved with actual demonstrations and life is shorts presentations and all that. So really looking forward to the series.
It's good to see Taboo Conspiracy putting stuff out again because there was a little while that he wasn't putting anything out, wasn't there? So yeah, it's really good.
Definitely. So closing statements.
Every Ball Earth protagonist has to be an overt liar unless they've recently come into the topic and they think that they can come around and get everyone persuaded that it's not flat. There are a few that start off that way, but once they get beyond like 2 or 3 videos, they've got to be questioning it. If they're not questioning it and they're still pushing it as though it's fact, yeah, you're just off the conveyor belt and you're punting the globe for lies. That's all of them do it. All of them.
This is gaslighting, isn't it? It's gaslight us.
Well, it's just overt lying.
Well, they're only gaslighting themselves though, because it's like there's plenty of evidence out there.
Yeah, of course, but they're trying to get you to believe something that's not. You know what I mean? So they're idiots. At the end of the day.
Anybody with half a brain can see through. It's.
Of course.
To me, they're just conning themselves, like.
Well, without a doubt, that's exactly what they're doing.
Whether that is like some kind of pain relief for them, I don't know, but.
Just smash your head against the wall.
But yeah, no, it's definitely that. But I think this is a well-needed series because the Globers don't understand how bottom-up obstruction works. They don't understand that the globe is claimed to be a physical curve, and if you're fighting for optical, then you can't claim it's physical globe Earth curve. So it's broken down as simple as that.
Exactly, and they blame both on the horizon, don't they?
Yeah, so I was going to say thanks all for coming. Appreciate it. Definitely see you guys tomorrow night. Please make sure you share, hit the likes, and subscribe to keep up to date. Until next